All right, y'all. It'll take a minute for it to jump up. Oh, I need that.
And I also got that information.
Yes, we just hit nobody on yet, but we just hit the live button because I gotta get the both streams up. So now we just
okay.
Sorry.
Okay, I'm just okay. Just being honest, connecting with the Black Experience. It is your guy, the most disliked popular guy, Barry Axius, remote live in my studio, and the Queen Mama, the goddess of all goddesses, Queen Mama Ro. I don't know, you in Africa, Brazil, what is you? Cuba?
I'm in my living room in
You in the living room. Okay. We just getting in. We just open it up. Oh yeah. Before we start off, remember we was having that little back and forth. I don't know, your people had said Young Brothers was getting pulled over, right? Or whatever, the curfew, right?
Yeah.
And we were talking about Sacramento, right?
Right.
There ain't no curfew. And I'm gonna send you it. I'm gonna send you the information right now on what the Sacramento health folks said. Now, what I was saying, I wasn't denying or arguing the fact that them boys probably got harassed, because I don't expect nothing more but harassment, because that's what's going to end up happening. But the simple fact that when folks are saying illegitimate things when it wasn't true, and they're saying ha, you bought into it. I have the truth of what it said, and it was 11:59 is like when they want people to go in, but we technically don't have a curfew as of yet. Now, as we dive deeper, because we talked offline about how folks are acting and how this coronavirus has become more and more relevant in a lot of communities, you can see an act of curfew and martial law. I think they're trying to help us get it right first before they start going ahead and doing things. I've seen a lot of people, actually police officers, telling them and saying, hey, this is too large of a crowd, social distancing. So it's like a real thing. Social distancing is a real thing. But I would like to encourage our audience, especially if you're going to speak the truth. Now, I do hear in other states there is some kind of curfew. I don't know that because I'm not in that state.
Right.
But I know California. I know what I heard. I remember it being said, we do not have a curfew. And that's why I was trying to bring logic to the game. If there was a curfew, like yesterday I drove down around 11 o'clock to go get the newspaper, right? Walgreens was closed. And Walgreens ain't never closed. Gas station, you know what I'm saying? Gas station was still open. So I was explaining to people the last show, I was like, hey, if we are having stuff closed at 8:30, it don't matter if you're an essential person or not. If it's a curfew, shit just going to be closed at curfew time. Things cannot just be open unless you're a gas station. And even some gas stations will be closed. They'll have their pump on. So let's be mindful, people. And I think that's what's screwing us up so much. We're on a show trying to talk about what's real from what's fake. And we can't even do that because there's so much different rhetoric. It's media saying one thing. It's underground media saying something. It's another media source saying something. There's a whole bunch of niggas with conspiracy theories. And, to me, it confuses what is actually going on. What I can say, honestly, I know people are dying. And then I could also say, honestly, that the system that we're in is going to have a whole lot to say after this is all said and done. I do know that. And it's not usually on the positive side. You know what I'm saying? So let's be very mindful, y'all, on how we throw out information. Because, first of all, don't have me arguing back and forth with my sister about some bullshit. I'm going to let you know right now. No, you was caping. I was like, whoa, sis.
No, but here's the thing. It don't mean some brothers didn't get pulled over and some cops didn't tell them, hey, curfew was at 7. Because cops lie all the goddamn time.
And we know that.
When stuff happened to us, we'd be like, man, these cops stopped me.
You're right. But I was saying though.
But the official word is that
the official word.
Got you.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not, because we already know they're going to do their thing. But at the reality of, this is what's happening. And that's why, you know, I think that this thing is so crazy to me, because here we are doing our podcast, and we appreciate everyone tapping in. You can go on our Facebook. We do have a Facebook page now. I'm just being honest. Connected with the Black Experience. So go like that page. We got that. You know, we're building up our YouTube. You know, we're doing this. Yeah, sharing that, please. It's confusing because you don't know what to. The president ain't helping. He sure ain't helping with all of his conversation, as well as all of these new doctors that have come out of nowhere without doctor degrees, trying to explain to us what is and what's not. So, and then on top of that, the history of America, as we all know, especially against Black Americans and Africans, has never ever favored. So as we are in this moment of we are the world, kumbaya, you and I both know the practices of America against Black people have always been the same. And also, have you been going to golf courses and seeing a whole bunch of people golfing, sis?
I haven't. I'm not gonna lie. I think I've been at golf course like maybe once or twice. It looked kind of empty to me, but is it?
There are mother effers in there golfing like it ain't nothing. And I sat there and said to my Facebook fan, like, yo, fam, what is essential about golf courses compared to parks? Because you know they done locked down all the parks. They got yellow tape around the parks like it was a murder scene. They done locked down all the parks. But for whatever reason, golfers are out there. And one guy, Black golfer, said, well, Black people golf too. And I laughed at him. I said, yeah, but you're not the majority. So the reality is people are golfing because of their privilege. And that privilege, because golf courses, regardless of the fact that there isn't that much touching, if you're going to close all the parks, why aren't you going to close the golf courses? That's all I'm saying.
That's true. But you know, Barry, so let me tell you one of the things that I did. I spent the last couple of days, probably last couple of hours, I'm working on a couple of projects. But one of the things I do is I watch a lot of documentaries, and I watched like 4 major documentaries yesterday. Like I listened to a few as I was working, making calls and stuff. One was called Lord, it's Lord's Thing, and it talks about the street gangs in Chicago in the 1950s all the way up until like maybe the early 70s. I think that's something everybody should watch because it talked about their track record and the poverty and the whole nine. And then when they became politically aware, that's when the Daily and all of them came down on them so damn hard. Because when they was terrorizing their community, they wasn't even fucking with them.
Okay.
They started to band together and close. It almost sounded like military where these young brothers was talking. I was like, damn, you know, great thing to watch. It's all this on YouTube. Then I watched something called
What's it called again?
It's called A Lord's Thing. Lord, Lord.
Oh yeah, I remember. I've heard of it. Yeah, I've heard it. Yeah, the Lord. Yeah.
Stuff, we be in certain things. I have to go back to history and learn. Then there's one called The Negro History, and that is very interesting because it talks about. I think this is really important to Black folks.
The Negro History.
The Negro History, and Ozzie Davis is narrating it, and it's talking about what makes a Negro and basically how his trying to be race. Ozzie Davis is the bomb, so it takes you in these steps, and then Black people starting to embrace themselves at the end, but it kind of gives you this reference point. And then this last one that I watched, I know I skipped one, but the last one I watched is called Black and White, Uptight, and it looks at white people and their fragileness around race relations. And what disturbed me the most, because I know you always say, and I love this, you always say Black and White domestic violence situation. But to me, it goes beyond domestic violence, because domestic violence to me, people say, oh, it's domestic violence, and we move on. This is something a little deeply more rooted, because imagine somebody raping and brutalizing you, and then they say to you, well, get over it. We're going to start from right here. And then they don't change their behavior. And so look at this documentary, because this is in like also the 70s. It shows you all of the verbal abuse, and it talks about subtle racism and how people basically learn racism. But you just have to see it, because what it says to me is, here we are each time keep trying to be this great American citizen, and we can never get to this status because it's never going to happen, because I never really want you to be equal, because I want you to be a nigga. I want you to be a Negro kind of thing. The one that I skipped, this is the fourth one, shows a middle-class Negroes in the 60s in Brooklyn. And when you watch this, it's another thing of basically trying to say to white people, I'm just like you, but how many times can you prove yourself? Who cares that you go golfing, Negro? Who cares that on Saturday you cut your lawn? Because it's these comparisons to whiteness. And our watchers really struggle with that. But when you look at these documentaries, it will really solidifying you, Barry, because you like that this shit is crazy, and we're having these certain issues because we first refuse to look at our own immediate history.
Yeah,
we want to jump all the way to Kemet and all the way back to some shit. But what is forming in you right now is these last 400 years.
Yes,
that's what you need to be concerned with, so you can learn it and make a different strategy so we can win.
Yes, ma'am.
If you don't study, you can't come up with no new strategy.
Well, here's the thing about it. I was talking to MJ before we jump in.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's all good. And we was talking, and she was like, the problem with leadership today is we now have leadership that's pushed in the forefront. Individuals that may have the energy, the passion for being able to say what the Black plight is in the moment right now. Well, let's just look at it. One of the biggest things that created some of the most fraudulent and most egotistical and fakest leaders is the whole police brutality activism.
All right now, Barry.
Right? You now have leadership that's thrown in front that really can articulate the truth of the matter or the connecting of why police brutality is here. It's almost like they talk about it in a sense of, well, I can't believe this is happening now. Like, wait a minute, Negro, it's been happening. Let's look at the history of America in a whole, not just with police brutality. Let's look at the documentation of why police brutality is. So you get a lot of these leaders that are being thrown in the forefront that really don't know how to articulate the back end history of why we are in the matters that we are in right now. They can't articulate truth because they don't really know it. They don't really have the historical background to kind of incite real conversation, because truth be told, they don't even know their history. A white person can break down their history better than them, their own selves. And I think that's the reason why a lot of the times we get kind of sidetracked by a lot of individuals that I'm not saying don't have the best interests of us, but they don't really know, right? They just thrown in, they get a good few punchlines, they YouTube a few things, they read a few books, and it's like, yeah, they get a mic in front of them, they get a microphone, or they are the victims of the tragedy, and now they becomes a spokesperson, and it screws us up because they don't have real knowledge of what are the things that truly define Black oppression when it comes to this system. It's deeper than police brutality, right? It's deeper than this thing called racism. It is a lineage of things that if you are not understanding of those and connect the dots, and if you get sidetracked to say, well, that was in the past, then you've lost me already. You know what I'm saying? You've lost me already. When you're that Negro, okay, you don't even need to be in the front talking for me. You can't be that. Because if you're the Negro that's going to say it happened in the past, no. Our current present is lined up with the past. Because here's the thing. We're getting $2 trillion because they know if they don't give Americans some money, something to save these Americans, right, you will have Armageddon right before you. But for whatever reason, we are here in these arguments back and forth, even with our own people, about reparations. That to me shows the ignorance and allows me to know how America plays games or the system plays games. So I think that, sis, in reality, when we talk about all these different things, when you don't know lineage, you don't know history, you know, you just are speaking from the right now perspective, you can never really get us out of true bondage. And the unfortunate part, the media will propel these people to really make these people feel they have a voice, but they're just talking one-sided and don't really know what they're talking about. And it's no disrespect, but we have to speak truth to power, because in these moments and times right now, I'm looking for all the abolishers and the radicals and the revolutionaries and all these other organizations and group that was here to take down the man. And now the man is he's he's on the ground. We had a 5 count right now. It's the time to establish what we've talked about is here, but I don't see any of them. And I don't want to hear niggas talking about they're working on the Underground Railroad like Harriet Tubman. I don't believe you. Because substantially, when you have, I feel, a target, it's easy to talk the rhetoric you're talking because you have a target. This is not a target. This is now saying, what will you do outside of this? And I don't see niggas really moving like that. A lot of these organizations that were built off of a moment and consider themselves a movement, they ain't moving fast enough, nor are they moving at all. And maybe they are doing some things, I don't know. But I usually know when people are doing things at a massive level, we're going to hear and get attention of it. Maybe I'm wrong.
No. I think, now, Barry, I think you speak in truth to people who are fake or self-appointed leaders. I think we look for the glory in leadership. We don't know being a leader is gritty. It's hard work. It's sleepless nights, it's sacrifice. And I'm getting deep work.
Don't say that.
Sacrifice and responsibility and accountability. Not doing a GoFundMe to feed your kids and shit like that. Like,
what do you mean to pay your rent? To pay your rent?
Yeah, that's you definitely can't really be a leader. So, and I could also tell too. This is what I also learned too, Barry. I also learned too that most of these people weren't. I always wondered where they were. Because I was a kid, I'm not trying to be funny. I grew around a lot of elders. So I've always studied, always wanted to know, how did this happen? Why this? Why that? Most people don't really value Black life. All they want to do is ride it.
Wow.
And that's really sad because you don't even know your own lineage, your own history. You don't really, like you look down. This is something else I figured out as I was watching all of this stuff. So when the Rodney King verdict happened, I was like 19, 20 years old, somewhere around there. And I worked with a bunch of women at the time, a bunch of Black women building the clinic. And I remember watching them women come together. A lot of them had like really good jobs. One lady was over the housing and redevelopment, Black woman, Betty Turner. It was a whole bunch of them. And I remember them coming together. And one of the main reasons why they want to make sure that women and babies in particular in LA, especially women who were parenting, got like Similac, milk, shit like that, and riots, because you have to take care of the babies. That's just how I go. And I remember them, even though they were highly educated and had these really good jobs, they were still connected to their roots. Like they were from Arkansas and Texas, and they grew up broke and poor in New York City and all of that. So for them, even though they had a lot of education and wealth, they were still connected to the root of what made them. They weren't IR and middle class Negro. They weren't them. They were like, my big mama scrubbed floors, blah, 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 took in laundry. Like they were still connected, which I kind of reference how I see Latinos doing. They come together and go in because they remember the migrant workers and the immigrants and people in their own line. So they have to, even if it's some of them who ain't in love with Latinos, it's enough of them that are, and they act on it.
Yes.
And so I always say sometimes I feel like Black people have a lot of like products that are like, they don't work well for Black people. Like they're self-absorbed. It's like the S curls that we used to put in our hair. Right. They kind of like that. Self-absorbed. That's very good. They're worried about themselves, but they're not connected to anything.
Yes.
They're not. They don't study nothing. Like they don't even look at these videos on the YouTube to even. Sometimes I watch those things, Barry, just to get an idea, a visual of what it was really like for my ancestors. Even though I lived some of that time, I can remember the 70s very vividly. But it's something about remembering from which you sprung, like what produced you.
Yes, ma'am.
I haven't always been living like this. I mean, in the me's before myself. You understand what I'm saying? So I think how we forget that shit because we be on some. Well, I went to Spelman, and so I graduated from Harvard, and it's like, and the white man singing and be like, "Nigga, I'll pull you over and give you a ticket," and you don't even understand why this fool is giving you a ticket.
Yeah, well, I think one of the things also is like those code switching theories that niggas used to put onto us. Like the greatest, one of the greatest, because there's a lot of great things that have constructed our downfall besides the overt things that, you know, racist system's done, but we're just talking about our own selves, right? Let's indulge in our self-abomination, right? One of those was that assimilation thing, right? We have told ourselves if we assimilate, right, if we act as if we are something that we are not, it will be a better way for us, right? Then you have the integration thing, right? Well, if we give up our power and just say, well, hey, can't beat them, join them, and move into their own communities, we will be embraced, right? And then recently, we've had this idea of code switching. Niggas have really like adopted this idea, like, let's code switch. Like, I'm gonna be hood in front of my partners, but hello, John. Would you pass? You know what I'm talking about? Like, this is a real thing that Negroes have tried to lead us into the darkness with. And when you talk about code switching, assimilating, and integrating, you don't even have to go to the racism, the redlining, the enslavement, and all of these, the mass incarceration, the drugs. You don't even have to go into those when we got, if those Negroes aren't going to pick up the ones I just said, we got a bunch of Negroes that will adopt the other three. And I think that has become, and that where the uppity, the special Negroes, as we call them, that's where they fit in, right? When they go into a job and they portray like, well, I'm black. And we play ourselves looking at that black figure like, well, yeah, he's black. I'll give them the opportunity. But you and I, because we work in a world where it's not just black and white, it's Latino, it's Asian. If we just collectively just collaborated with just black people on everything, we would be in a major pandemic ourselves, right? We wouldn't be doing this talk show right now because we'd be trying to go ahead and find some, it'd be bad. And why I say that is that all the time when you lean to your own people, you're not going to always get the best results. You're really not going to always get the best results. And I've seen that because I've just experienced that firsthand with me just dealing with the 3 black chefs. As we started something, a very powerful movement, and shouts out to everybody that's been donating and everyone that's been supporting. I am overwhelmed and enjoy over the fact that people in the community have stood. But I'm going to tell you a story that I went to a black leader and I told this black leader my plan. And this black leader basically told me this project he could not fund, could not give me anything, and said, I am not, my organization isn't an established organization. Go direct the people to something else. And I was like,
well, he said directed to someone else?
Directed to a more established organization. You know, so you know me, that's like basically calling me out. That's like challenging me. And I'm all for the challenge. So now, because I know how to do things, I know how to make a thing a thing. Shouts out to Dana Maisha, you know what I'm saying? That's her thing. To make a thing a thing, I made this thing a real thing. And we literally have raised enough money to fund this ourselves community-wise, as long as we kind of stay in the confines of April 30th. Going past that, we'll probably still need to raise a lot of money. But what I found in this moment, I had to go to a good white woman friend of mine, right? And she supported in a major way. And people can say a lot of things about her, but me and her relationship is a solid relationship. And she supported. She did not hesitate to figure out a way to make sure that my people, our people, got what they got. And she ain't even from the area. You understand what I'm saying? Not only did she give money, she directed the GoFundMe to others in her community to give money, and then she connected me to a food source that other people had that didn't give to me, directed me and connected me to the guy who's the guy.
I exactly know what you're talking about.
And that's a white woman. And so we can go ahead and claim that it's us or die. But what I know in any good thing, we must have allyship. And sometimes our allyship is not always going to be ones that agree with everything. But that's okay.
That's right.
That's okay. If our show was just you and I agreeing on everything, that shit would be boring.
Yep.
Now, if we have to correct each other on what's false and what's reality, that's something different. But it's okay to have differences. And I think sometimes we get caught up in this unrealistic reality that wants everybody to be the same. Like, what are you talking about? Like, no.
That's called a monolith. That's called a monolith.
This monolithic shit is like, come on, y'all. Ain't this what we want? A difference of opinion? A difference of ideology? Do you want that, or you just want everybody to look like the same people that are oppressing you, how they say they want it to be? So when black people get into this point, and especially Negroes who prower that extreme radical Negro shit, but yet and still they are just as bad, if not worse, for the black community than those people oppressing us. We have to find a way as black people to galvanize our comrades and allies of other colors and resources. But this is what happens, sis. This is the only thing that happens. I feel that screws up. It did it to hip hop and so many other things, jazz, rock and roll. We as black people don't control the narrative. We don't control our resources. And that's when it gets out of whack. You know what I mean? We can blame it on those, but I'm gonna tell you right now, just like you, I came into your house that one lovely day. I asked you, can I get this? Sis, can I get that? And you obliged. Yeah, go ahead. But I did not just go into your cabinet and just grab stuff. And if I had done that, you'd have been like, hey, brother, you can have anything you want, but holler at me first.
Right on.
And I think that's the problem with us. We allow the guests to come to the house, and they are no longer the guests. They own the shit. I mean, ain't that what happened with America? They come in and they run shit. And I believe that our problem is we start allowing too many guests in our house, and we start giving them the keys without saying, hey, call me when you're about to come over. And that's what we have to maintain, in my opinion.
So let me say this. You everything you said remind me of the black and white fragility. I shared the name and the link to these documentaries because in the documentary, they show that there are good white people in there. In the Lord's thing, it shows the white people who help them get grants and all that shit. So I always think there's always been what we would call good white people who know this shit is fucked up and who use their whiteness to help if they could. It's not. I think we've always had that. Where we fuck up at, Barry, is that we don't know. And Javon taught me this lesson from watching her. She said, like you just said, you have to lay those rules down and don't be so overwhelmed that white people like you. It don't make you special. You know what I mean? You're not really special. You can become a nigga at any moment. Don't get it.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
But we somehow, Barry, it becomes like a drug for black people to have white friends, to be
white acceptance.
Yeah, to be right next to white people. It's like me being standing next to Denzel. I'll probably be like, oh shit, this is Denzel. Because I really love Denzel. So I'm like, oh my God, this is Denzel. Watch this man playing this and this. You know what I mean? I probably will be like, oh my goodness. You know what I mean? Like we get crazy. And the white people be like, and some of them don't even understand that there's something wrong with us that we do that to them.
Yes.
Because they be happy sometimes to be next to you because they're trying to clear their conscience or do the right thing and not be their ancestors. But
yes,
we turn into almost like a slave. Like the slave button goes on, and then we be like, "Can I help you? Don't be messing with my white folk." Like we don't even try to break the shit down to them. And I only say that because I've been in company with other cultures, and when I've seen certain things, they would explain to me what the fuck I was seeing and how like this is what's happened to us and this is why this person's reacting this way because in our history this happened. We don't even do that to white people. We don't say, hey, let me tell you why this black person just went the fuck off. Hey, you know, you go somewhere and you see black folks acting. So we have to say, okay, hold on, because there's a reason why we're acting. We don't even educate them on the shit we should educate them about.
There you go.
We always try to make them comfortable at the expense of the person who is.
Man, yes.
Don't get
No, get started. Where's your fan at? Get started. You know what I mean? And I think that's the part that it's okay to make people uncomfortable. I make Negroes more uncomfortable than I do on white folk, to be honest with you. I mean, you know, that's just a reality. I just know that in that example that I showed, and when I'm getting phone calls from people that ain't black, they're white, that want to donate to what me and my two other brothers are doing, the 3 Black Chefs. If you want to go ahead and send a donation, 3 Black Chefs, Cash App, Barry Axius, PayPal, #1, voiceoftheyouth@gmail.com, or go to the GoFundMe account, 3 Black Chefs. My thing is, I have not had one black media outlet reach out to me. Not one black media outlet. And we all know that they follow in pursuit of what the white media outlets are doing. But this has always been a problem. It's always been an issue, right? When, you know, they take their time, you know, to get to it. But by the time they get to it, it's almost like over. Why can't you be in front of it? Why can't you be the one to put it out there first? Is it not newsworthy? Because we done got interviewed by every local, and now we got a few national and a few other big folks doing their thing that have some money that's coming to holler about some things in a possible future, right? So now it's become a thing, and I still ain't not seen one black media outlet reach out. Hey, I don't need to reach out to y'all because these people are reaching out to me, right? So it really, to me, speaks volumes on how we are so conditioned to just kind of just wait, allow folks to just come do whatever they want to do and position ourselves. And that's why I'm very afraid not only that in this whole corona epidemic, right, this pandemic, before we were told or we thought, right, again, when we talk about falsehoods, myths, conspiracy theories, and an actual fact, Niggles was immune. I even put it up on, it's like, how many black people have you seen, you know, affected with the virus? And I was praying in my gut, like, this could be the fact where finally the Negroes is accepted, right? Could you imagine, since no Negro having this shit? Like, this would be a celebration. And it's not a celebration of everybody dying. It's just, well, thank God we ain't got to be a part of this shit, right? But then all of a sudden, when this thing became something more than just a hoax, as our president liked to say, you got more black people dying at an alarming rate from New Orleans to New York and everywhere in between than you ever had, as the start of this kind of looked like it was just an elderly thing. Like, oh, it's just some elderly folk, you know, keep them in the house. Niggas don't get this shit. You know, it's all this other shit. The Chinese get it. Now, we become the face of death. I have not seen so many news reports that had a Negro face and they all died from the same thing, the coronavirus. So how do you feel about that, sis? I'm not, you know, I'm kind of perplexed.
So it's a double sword, Barry. It's a double sword. Because I also think just because people look black don't mean that they black. That's number one. Damn. Number two, it makes me think of AIDS. When we know that AIDS started out, it was a white gay man disease. But
wait, the monkey came. Wait, the monkey had sex with the white man? Is that what happened?
No, I don't know. What I'm saying is that.
No, I'm just saying because, you know, they said the monkey got it right.
I know. Out of Africa, some shit. Like, it was a white man doing an African fucking monkey. I don't even know who came up with that, but I don't know. I mean, this is the world. Anything is fucking possible. Yeah. That's why I love a video sometimes. But because white gay men want to live, they started protecting themselves. So now the group who has the fastest rising population with the HIV virus is black straight women. I don't understand it. Because how does it go from white gay men? This is one part of the spectrum, right? One part. And now we all the way over here.
Yeah.
So to straight black women, fast.
Well, you know what that tells me? You had a lot of straight black men that went to prison that turned out not to be straight anymore and came back, but that's another conversation.
All I know is what it speaks to me, Barry, is behavior.
Talk to me.
I don't know that black folks took that in the house shit. trying to get black people to stay in the house at a party and not go onto the street or the sidewalk. Come on,
to the yard, up to the yard.
Like, why the hell can't y'all just stay the hell in the confinements? Why do we gotta go hang out? I just never understood that. I know that's like, I don't know, maybe that's something to do with being confined to a plantation. I don't know. But what I do know is, somebody just busted out laughing. I just feel like, you know, that has something to do with behavior for me, because I've watched black people throw their little get-togethers, they kickbacks. We seen the video last weekend of black people cussing out the cops because they had a big ass party.
House party.
Right? So I'm just saying, like, if we know there's something going on, you know, we still can't have 20, 50, 30, 40 of us at a house party when we all been in different places.
Niggas are still passing blunts to each other. Still
drinking after each other? Like, come on. I mean, I know they put a bunch of shit in malt liquor, but you know, you don't gotta touch the brim to you know, look, don't even do a damn waterfall. My kids love a waterfall. They love the shit out of a waterfall. Let me waterfall that. You know, with each other. Let me water. I'll be like, don't even do a waterfall. I'm just saying.
But I'm just saying as well, what about the pre-existing conditions that black people have? You know what I'm saying? The reality is we're not, when we think about it, we're not living. And that's another reason why, again, what me and my brothers, the 3 Black Chefs, is doing is so important. And it's so epic. We know the place that we're serving the food is a food desert. The food insecurity in this place is high. So what we are doing is bringing grade A culinary product to the people. And it's just not feeding these people in the community. It's feeding people who just want to drive and travel to get a free meal. But we do know the epicenter of food poverty is in this area. So for us to be like, yo, we're going to be right here, it'd be different for us to go to like an area for those who are not, you know, local, like Rockland. It's a more of a nice ritzy place. You know what I'm saying? Some areas of Roseville, the 40s in East Sacramento. I mean, if we was doing some old shit like that, it'd be like, what are these niggas doing? But we're going in places that we know the pre-existing conditions, and a situation of how we are so unhealthy, it really plays a factor. And your health is your wealth. And I don't think we subscribe to that theory. So understanding that, it's not surprising that we've become now the face, right? Though our melanated bodies are so well in condition for all things. I mean, they're doing harvesting because of our organs and things like that. They ain't doing harvesting for other folks, right? There ain't no 86,000 plus black women missing for no reason. Trust me, it's a little different, right?
Barry, if you open up some of our organs, the shit is fucked up. Do you understand that a 15-year-old black girl have the same health status of a 30-year-old white woman? Do you realize how unhealthy we are?
So yeah, but I'm saying, but you're right. In the most parts, but there is a reason why they're harvesting our organs, because before we get unhealthy, we the healthiest of healthy, right? But the reason why we're doing what we're doing is because we know if shit goes down the way it's going down, people are eating everything and anything. And most of these neighborhoods in black communities, they are populated by food deserts, fast food restaurants. That's considered like food deserts, where you can't get good dining experiences, where you can't get good foods and natural product. It's just all trash. So the idea of thinking that it's not essential to be here cooking good food for people that would probably not get the good, decent meal anyway, it's ludicrous. But what I'm saying, going back to the fact that now we've become the faces of death for the coronavirus, it speaks volumes not only to the healthcare, the lack thereof in the black community, but it also speaks volumes to how we're taking care of our body overall. Some of these pre-existing conditions, we've been knowing about this from day one. Now it's become our detriment because this virus that, for the most part, we all don't know what it is to this day. We can speculate it's affecting us in a way that we've never seen before.
Right on. As my homegirl said on Sunday with sisters out of Chicago, which I just love talking to sisters all over the country, she said a pandemic, hell, gun violence is a pandemic. Shit, people still killing. He's at. Besides this pandemic, we got violence, gun violence. It's a pandemic. Yes. People are still shooting each other down in the street, which means they ain't staying at home.
No, they're not. Niggas. Listen, one of my little youngins just got shot the other day. And, you know, thank goodness he's still alive. And he got shot in the car with his baby mama and his baby.
Oh, Jesus.
You know what I'm saying? So niggas is still out there trying to lift. I had one of my little youngins who just got out, a lockdown. He was in Pennsylvania. I picked him up. 20 minutes before I picked him up, him and his two other homeboys was plotting on a robbery. Before I picked him up, another young brother had just stolen a car, crashed that car in a light pole, and that boy got the hell up out of there. You understand what I'm saying? Niggas is still doing what they doing, but here's the thing. Crazy. Because as we know, that $2 trillion ain't coming. I done checked the mail. It ain't came to me. Have you checked the mail? Has it come to you?
No, but I'll tell you this. If you owe something, you ain't getting that shit.
Okay, thank you. All right, listen. And on top of that, it's April what? It's April 7th now, right? April 1st and then passed off. You get what I'm talking about? So I'm hearing that if you're not in the high alphabets, you may not see that damn check till June. So there's a lot of things that's about to hit. It's really going to hit the fan. But I will say again, if you don't got to be outside, if you're not doing anything productive, man, try to stay inside. But clearly this is also speaks to the level of homelessness that we have faced, especially young people. You got to remember the reason why a lot of these young people are outside like that, they're moving and navigating outside to the late night to where they can call someone and sneak into the house is because they ain't got no place to stay. So there is really no choice for them to be outside. So now it becomes the particulars of what they're going to do. There's a lot of heavy stuff, sis. If this keeps on going the way it's going, it's just not going to end up good.
You're right, but it's always been heavy shit. That's why it's good to watch history.
Yes.
I mean, I know we think we got it rough now, but shit.
No, you're right. Totally.
Like, come on. I also watched it had it rough, figure out how to be safe. And I think sometimes, I don't know. I'm not saying that. I just feel like this. Some people are going to figure their way out the bag than others. Some motherfuckers really want to live. I really, really want to live. And I got to be honest, Barry, I talk to people all around the country. California has more resources and access as well to more resources than in other parts. If you're in New York and your ass is broken poor, you're not going to run into your fucking mayor. You're just not going to run into this fool. You're not going to be talking to your council person or, you know what I mean? Like, it just don't. I think sometimes some of us forget what state we're really in because we ain't never been no motherfucking where. So we don't even understand that you can walk up on your goddamn mayor or your city council. Or, I mean, you can really touch motherfuckers.
Yes.
There's some parts of the world you cannot touch people.
Can't talk. Like your voice is a nobody. Like real talk.
And you won't walk up on their ass either. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah, and the thing about it, sis, what you're saying is totally correct. The resources we have, but in a sense of resources that we have are limited if you are limited in your access. So a lot of the thing about California is a lot of us are limited in our access. And I think that becomes a play altogether. If you have limited access to resources, again, another thing that happened, you know, the city, and I think I shared it last show, they gave out $1 million. Well, my thrift store didn't get it, but I know 101 other nonprofits and businesses got it.
Yep.
That goes again. Listen, and sis, this goes against and speaks to the truth of the fact. I had an epiphany. I was walking around. I was conversating with one of my sisters in Mississippi. You know, at first she didn't believe that this whole pandemic was real. I said, okay, girl, you play if you want to. Then all of a sudden she called me, said, man, B, you right. This was crazy. Da, da, da. Yeah, exactly. They shipping me off to New Orleans to go help over there. I should have listened to you. I said, I told you. I said, I don't know what it is, but I know what it is, right? But here's the funny part. I'm sitting here, we having a conversation, and we were talking about black businesses. And, you know, she had just opened up a store as well as her being a nurse. And me and her was sharing information and conversation. And I said to her, I said, you know what's so crazy is that in these particular times, right, you know, you had a few artists come together and put $2 million together and go send it to some relief fund, right? I said, wouldn't it be just powerful if these black celebrities or entertainers, and I know folks, we're not supposed to depend on them, but they depend on us to we built them to where they're at. So they were dependent on us to listen to their music, go watch their movie, celebrate them, and really kind of adopt them for whatever they do, whether it was rapping, playing ball, singing, acting, whatever. They depended on us to lift them, because if it wasn't for the people, they would not have a career, right? Okay. Now, It dawned on me that we got all these niggas with money, all these niggas with access, all these niggas with resources, but they yet and still continue to do the same thing by getting some money together and donating funds to the FEMAs, to the Red Cross, or to some release fund, instead of saying, you know what we're going to do? We're going to do something revolutionary. We're going to put pots of money together, because I got a few millions, he got a few million, she got a few millions, and we are going to put a pot together, whether it's a grant or just a stipend for black businesses, because one, there ain't that many black businesses all around in America, so a bunch of millionaires and billionaires putting their money together and accessing it for people like myself, people like you that have businesses, right? To say, you know what? We can't wait for the stimuli package, but this is how we're going to set this up. Would be a lot more prevalent, be a lot more sufficient, would be a lot more impactful if these Negroes would get off their ass, get off their chair, and start looking at this thing on a bigger perspective. Black businesses will be affected more after this pandemic than anyone, period. And we have black elitists that sit back and pretend that they're just in the same position as us. You are not. Financially, you have the ways to do. And when this shit is done, you go back to working for Master again on the Big Plantation show. So reality is this. We have too many Negroes that have monies that can help make us be more sufficient, especially in these times, if they would just put their shit together and stop doing these things and think that we're supposed to celebrate it because, they gave money to Red Cross. Yay! Negro, where's that Red Cross money going to come to any black community?
Right on, which we ain't gonna never see.
We never gonna see it. And when cities go ahead and do their little packages of small businesses, a Negro is lucky if he even gets a percentage of that money. They know it's like this, sis. If we wasn't getting business loans from banks, how the hell we gonna get a goddamn loan from now a pandemic situation from the cities? Like, now they're going to give us some money? You wasn't even giving us some money to go start our business. Now you're going to give us out some money? So it's a responsibility of our own to take care of our own. And I don't see us doing that. That shit frustrates the shit out of me, Queen.
If they seen us as their own.
And that's the problem.
I agree. I agree with you, but I don't think they see us as their own.
And that's because they separate themselves by the class.
As David Banner said, these are people who are fighting to hold the rope.
Yeah.
The lynching. They're fighting to help make the 13 knots.
Listen, if you had all these black, let's just look at it. Let's just look at LA, right? Let's say if all they've just said, we can't save the world, but we're going to save our area, right? I'm going to go to LA. All of the, let's just go into the LA area. All them niggas with money. You trying to tell me they can't put a fund together to go help make sure black businesses get what they need that are closed, black eateries get what they need when they're trying to struggle to go ahead and, get their orders out? You trying to tell me y'all niggas ain't got no money to put something together just like all these other people do? Just like America put a stimulus package together? You niggas is telling me y'all waiting for your check too? That shit is some crazy shit. When I don't see leadership or when I don't see people that have the access or the resources, step up, I don't fuck with them like that. I don't want to hear it. Don't talk to me about this revolutionary bullshit. Don't talk to me about dismantling shit because I seen y'all niggas when the pressure was on. Don't talk to me about being off the grid. I seen you niggas with the pressures on. Right now is a true testament of where we at. Black people, where we're at moving forward. And I'm going to tell y'all right now, no one in here is trying to save each other but a small portion or a few. But again, our black elite, whether they're in public office, whether they're in a higher office, or whether they're getting monies hand over fist by you that still continue to pay into them, we continue to see what they do when we're under pressure, and they don't do shit. They don't really do nothing. Real talk, they don't do nothing, because that to me is revolutionary. Why ain't all these niggas done got together, put a fund together? I don't understand that. Is it that hard?
I think it's not that hard if they wanted to do it. And Barry, you know, I'm with you.
Don't say it to me, Queen. Don't say that.
I don't disagree with you, but I also think, see, this is just me, Barry.
All right, go ahead, tell me. Break my heart, sis. Break my heart. Break my heart.
I don't want to break your heart, because I love it, because that's Barry. That's why I like watching the documentary, because black people been saying this shit since slavery. If we could. White man can't run in Africa, chase a motherfucking, kidnap your ass over here. I know we love to buy that as a theory, but you know it was some niggas helping to run and do that. You run away, they can't run that fast to come get your ass. Come on. We had to help them do it. And so my thing is, Barry, is that we can never take responsibility, because we really don't want us to succeed, because we ain't we. We is I.
Ooh.
And I ain't with we.
Ooh.
Ain't no I and we. There's only an I and win, and I want I to win. I don't give a fuck.
Wow.
This is not a we mission.
Okay.
We ain't French, so I don't even know why we're speaking it. But I'm just saying, you know what I mean? And I feel you. But I said all the like, oh my God, look at all the so-called conscious black rappers. Look, I'm just saying, like, come on, like Barry. Come on, that would be too much like you governing yourself. Oh shit, one of those scary words.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
Oh don't shit. Because we have to have somebody to blame for when we don't show up like the gods we claim we are.
Okay.
Okay, we supposed to be human beings. We supposed to have free will. Shit, a motherfucking mouse can probably lead our ass better than the free will thinking adult. They say if you underground and you trying to get out, you gotta follow where the mouses run.
Yeah. You
gotta see where they rolling. They don't actually look at no damn big ass human being who's scared of shit and got us in this shit in the first place.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like Barry, you got to know I love our people. Do I love us? Yes. But I also understand all your skin folks ain't your goddamn kin folks. You know, right. I mean, I'm not trying to be funny. Like, look, we can get
you know, I know I'm speaking on this you know, unrealistic idea, but I just know.
Oh, Sonny is saying, hold on. Sonny is saying Indivisible already started a black investment fund 3 years ago. Barry, why you freeze on me like that?
Why you freeze? Why? What's that? Okay, now what's that supposed to mean?
Okay, Sonny, tell us.
So what's that? So explain. Okay, what does that mean?
Let's give her a minute to explain.
Okay.
I would love to see rappers like, well, I met KRS-One. This is D-Nice and the whole BDP get together to raise money specifically for the black community. I don't think Chris Parker is brown. He's not white, black, or brown. He's not white, black, or
I'm from the boogie down.
He don't see himself as black. So that, I mean, KRS-One though, I've met him a few times. D-Nice, I don't know. He just like, I just gotta come up. I was struggling. I wasn't trying to hire D-Nice. I don't know what D-Nice was doing.
Yeah, exactly. Nick was only bringing up D-Nice because Nick was just only bringing up D-Nice because he blew up on IG. Nobody cared about D-Nice before that.
People don't know what BDP is. I know
exactly.
Production will always get paid. We'll take the wacky song and make it better. But
yeah, exactly.
Your skin and then you begin. I mean,
exactly.
you know, but
we know what it is. But you know, but speaking on what Sis said though.
Right on, but I agree with you, Sis.
No, I know. We're speaking on what Sis said. We both agree. Wouldn't it be dope?
Go ahead.
Wouldn't it be dope if we had these alleged so-called empowerment rappers or whoever? Like, listen, right now, Them Hotep Negroes and these conscious lecturers, they was for the last 3 to 4, 5 years was taking all our money. So this is a time for them to come out and say, hey, you know, we got an issue because y'all got our money for whatever that you said you was doing. Ain't this the time to say, hey, let's put this fund together? I just don't believe Negroes, man. Like, Negroes can't sell me they trip because I know what I do. I know what you do. You understand what I'm saying? And when it was time to get in the sand and get dirty, my asthmatic ass could have been right here in this house quarantining like everybody else. But my black asthmatic ass, as a leader that some have dubbed me, went out, figured out, took to my brother, said, here's the game plan. This is what we're going to do. I saw this coming before it was coming. I said, we're going to have to get in, and we got it in. That's revolutionary. That's what I seen the Panthers do. That's what I seen my ancestors do in the MOVE movement. That's what I seen being done. And that's a problem again with these so-called Negroes who want to believe that they're more than what they are. They be forgetting Negroes was doing this shit way better than you and before you. Just because this shit goes viral, Negro, you ain't doing shit. Knock it off. Knock it off. You had Black Panthers that had straps shooting at the police. The fuck are you talking about? They was over there in courtrooms, taking over courtrooms, making sure one of their own got out. Shouts out to George Jackson and them. Stop acting like your viral moment is some real revolutionary shit. Niggas is corny. Silly ass niggas. Now I say, where the fuck are their movements at? You heard?
They're in quarantine, Barry.
They're in quarantine time making excuses. I got young people being paid. I got young people getting paid. And I got 1,000+ people per week getting food with my brothers. So this is what we have to do, is taking care of our own. On top of that, I'm putting out other things for our youth to do while we're in this moment. Go ahead, sis. I'll apologize.
MLA money. What the fuck they better give you? They better give you some of this male leadership or boys or men of color, whatever the fuck. They better support your ass.
Who?
Anyway, sorry. I'm just saying.
You know what?
Money. Like, you should get money, Barry. Shit. Like, brothers don't work it out.
Like, sis, you know what? Niggas don't have I don't have time for niggas, man. That's why I do what the fuck I do. But niggas know what it is. And I'm gonna tell y'all, niggas keep pressing my buttons. Y'all can't say too much shit to me. No, you can't. Like, and I go back to when niggas wanted to try to denounce and try to hate and do all that weird shit, because I step up. I step up in leadership every time. I'm a go Negro. I'm not a sit back Negro. I'm a go Negro. I'm not a sit down and strategize over and over, have all these damn meetings. I'm a go Negro. And I don't see a lot of Negroes going. So keep making your excuses. Keep doing what you're doing. Sit back, quarantine. Look at this a few times. I am talking to you. Y'all know what it is. And don't sit there and, you know what I mean? I don't want to keep. Here's the funniest part. We were just denouncing Snoop Dogg, and then all of a sudden this nigga would make a quarantine sit at home video, and now we showing it. Can we make up our mind? Is the nigga Snoop good, or is he? What are we doing? What are we doing? We just accept everything. So we just forgot that he didn't call Gail a B and was threatening to kill her. Now all is forgiven. Now he's doing quarantine videos talking about stay at home. But Negro, fuck your video. Go ahead and make a quarantine foundation to go help some black people out.
Well, hold on. Sister Sunny has an answer. She said I think she means Barack Obama. Tell me if I'm right, sis, because I don't know. Open up investments for blacks when whites had it closed. At this point, we jumped on it.
What? I don't understand either. I'm
not trying to be funny. I don't understand either, because Barack Obama didn't do shit for black people.
I don't.
So opening up investments to people who don't have fucking money. Let me give you a stat. 7 out of 10 homes in California are owned by Asians. They don't sound like black progress. Thanks to Barack Obama.
Or thank you, Kevin Johnson. Like, you know, as a black man in leadership, I've had more real conversations with a white mayor than I've had with a black mayor.
You better shut your...
Come on now. Where's the fan? Where's the damn fan? Where's the fan?
Your ass, because that's the truth.
I'm just saying.
The mayor and the supermarket and everything else. I ain't never seen Kevin Johnson.
I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear Negroes tell me about how we supposed to do shit when you ain't doing shit. I just don't want to hear that shit. That shit is over it. Any of these conscious leaders, directors, inspirational, motivational, whatever, all of that shit is out the window and out the door. Because right now, we need more than just motivational words. Right? We need some action. I know what you're doing. You're not only putting out a lot of great content, but you're still touching families and your girls that still need support financially, support mentally, support spiritually, support with food.
They gave out computers in Sac City. How about my Burbank kids ain't getting none? And I done left out all my laptops. But this is Burbank, where everybody was over there and trying to do whatever. Did y'all check to see if the black kids got their computers? Yeah. You Negroes didn't do that.
Come on now.
Come on now.
I mean, I'm just saying that.
Somebody who was not black to be like, hey, what's up? And then they helped me get me answers so I could get my girls their computers.
Listen, we got social distancing happening. Our kids need laptops. You know what I'm talking about? The kids are in school for now. They're not going back to school.
They
need innovative things. They don't need to be charged. They need innovative things. What I'm going to be doing right now, I'm going to be collaborating with Key to the Great, my little nephew, Key to the Great. I'm going and I'm putting 27 kids to be involved in his virtual reality classes. Then what we're doing is we're going to be putting out a scholarship. We're not going to put, that's going to be a one scholarship. Then we're putting out a contest about the Quarantine Chronicles, having young people, seniors in high schools and things of that nature, freshmen in college, to talk about your experience and get some money. We're going to give out 10 cash prizes just to keep their creativity and understanding of what's happening. You know, I'm talking to my brother about, putting some senior portraits together. We're working on that right now, figuring out how we can do that for the folks who wanted to take their prom pictures, like at the Rose Garden out here, or whatever other place, maybe being able to go ahead and charge. These are the things my organization, your organization, is doing without support of any of these entities.
Barry, I'm still running my mentor.
People don't talk to me about nothing.
I done matched up like 7 of my girls since the quarantine who really want mentors, who are doing virtual mentoring. And most of them are seniors, and they're afraid of, like, I'm not going to have a prom this year. I'm not going to have a graduation. I don't even have internet at my house. I don't even have a computer where I can finish my work online. This is the shit that's going on. And you want to talk to me about, oh, I think I'm going to teach you about yourself, and you don't even know about your goddamn self. Like, come on.
You bum-ass Negroes. You bum-ass Negroes who keep talking about this abolishment, this silly-ass liberation shit. Well, we being liberated right now. This extreme radicalism about what we don't need. Let's get off the grid. We off the grid right now. Yes. What happens if they cut off the internet? All you Negroes that are talking all this talk, it's time. It's time to develop systems right now. Where is everybody at? Like, was everybody quarantining? My God, shouts out to everybody that's doing something, whether it's shouts out to my sisters that's doing Zumba classes, shouts out to my sisters that are doing cooking classes, shouts out to my brothers and sisters that are doing virtual reality mentorship, or you know what I'm saying, or whatever is transpired.
Grandma shit. Shouts out for taking care of the elders.
Yeah. Shouts out to those who are out there giving out food, serving food, whatever. You're doing something, because if we cannot take this opportunity as Black people and see this as an opportunity, not a pandemic, because regardless of epidemic, pandemic, or anything, right? We as Black people have always existed in where things touch us a little bit differently, right? 9/11 touched us a little bit differently. The recession touched us a little bit differently. It sounds good that we are all American, but you got to remember, when all of this shit passes go, we are still Black. And they still remember that we're Black. And if we don't get out of our asses or out of our way to conduct ourselves in a manner to shows and displays that we can do this shit by ourselves, we will continue to be caught in this transition, continue to beg, continue to not be prepared, continue to not look at opportunities. I mean, this is the greatest time to be a black person, even in the struggle, because we have gone through far worse, black people. Yes, we have. We really have. This is not that bad. This really not that bad, because in reality, you should have been saving your money. In reality, you should have probably thought about having more than one kid. In reality, you should have said, I probably want to get my degree than just take this high-paying job because I feel comfortable with this high-paying job. In reality, you probably should have started your business 2 years ago. In reality, you should probably have kicked out that damn dirty, silly-ass Negro, whether it's a woman or a man that you live with. You should probably have left them alone a long time ago anyway. In reality, these things should have happened. So the reset button is here. And I don't believe that this is the worst possible thing. Why? Because it's just not everyone being inconvenienced. We're all being inconvenienced. And with that being said, all of us being inconvenienced gives us all the opportunity to make something out of this moving forward. And I just don't see people that should step up in a way you and I can feel it. You should not be telling me on our podcast that you had to go and give some laptops to some girls. That should not be happening. One of them damn King players or King's organization should have been reaching out, or you should have been able to call one of them people and said, I need 10 laptops, and it should have been done. These are the things that should be happening.
If you're just joining us, this is Just Being Honest, connected with the Black Experience.
It's Barry going crazy. Let me go drink my water. It's Barry going crazy.
No, I love it, y'all. And we have a YouTube channel, so please go to it. I'm sharing the link right now and like it. We're trying to build our YouTube channel up. And then also, Barry, what do you think about this 5G? Is it real? Is it Memorex? What is it?
I have no fucking idea. Sis, I'm gonna be totally honest with you. I'm so caught up in trying to make sure people are well in my space outside. I know folks are trying to connect the 5G experience with the coronavirus experience. I know a lot of folks have said the reason why this shelter in house was happening because they could put all the 5G towers. I know a lot of the cell phones are switching into 5G. This is supposed to be like the next wave of killer to the black community, but I guess it's always the next wave of killer. But again, like I said, when the great beloved Nipsey Hussle passed, what the fuck are we going to do about it? Like, I don't know what niggas want us to do. I would love for people to chime in and say, well, how are we supposed to? Because it's here now. We weren't able to stop it. It's being connected, and we all know how these cell phones operate. Eventually, our cell phone is going to be diluted, even if it's working perfectly fine. It's going to have some glitches, and they're going to tell you, you got a phone. And then we're like, well, what do you have? We have 5G phones. They're the newest in technology. I don't want a 5G phone. Well, guess what? This is all we got. We don't got the 4Gs. We only have 5G phones. I'm going to have to get a cell phone, right?
Can I be honest with you, Barry?
Please do. Please.
This going to be my nigga moment today. Everybody has them.
Oh my God. Tell
that 5G is already here. If this is what 5G does to you, because I've seen so many fights with black folks out in the street fighting like maybe it's something in the air that's making us just act like, I mean, like real animalistic shit, like in jungle kind of, get that nigga, fuck that bitch. I mean, like so video. I'm like, is there something in the air? So we're talking about 5G. I think we've already had some kind of version of that because people just go off like just on a whim.
Yeah.
Except for when they see white people or the police, then they be like, and I don't know if it's the running man, like maybe it's a chip. I don't know. But I feel like I would like to have something to blame because I can't even explain why the fuck we doing this. I just can't, Barry. I'm not gonna lie. I cannot explain it. I cannot. I wreck my brain. Like, like, why do we do this kind of barbaric, off the chain shit with each other?
Yes.
Because if y'all could talk about the conspiracy theories and all that knowledge of self bullshit, because that gets on my nerves too. Because that itself is a part of warfare too. Because you'll blame something so you can't go do nothing. Yeah. But I just feel like if 5G, cell phone, live button, like, I'm just throwing out shit now. Like, what is it that we're acting this damn crazy? But when we get to certain people, we stop. Because I ain't seen no videos yet. Nobody going off on the powers that be. I ain't seen that shit yet.
I mean, some niggas do that
white
shit.
People go off and fight the cops. I seen that shit. I seen white people.
Back in the days we did, and this is kind of an anniversary where one Negro got pulled over. I think he shot like 7 cops or 5 cops in Oakland. So I think that was one of the things. But that was, like I said, it wasn't for no revolutionary purposes. It was for, like, I don't want to go to jail again. I'm going out like I'm going to go out, whatever. But sis, again, I totally agree with you, because again, I'm not devaluating the idea of this 5G. I'm not devaluating that at all. But at the same particular time, I don't know what niggas want me to do about that at the particular time. I just don't know. Like, it becomes this thing to where, okay, don't do 5G, this, that, and that. Okay, well, our meat might as well have 5G. The drinks that we have might as well have 5G. The cigarette that you smoking while you telling me about 5G, I probably have 5G. The marijuana that you said, hey, you want to hit, might as well have 5G. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I mean, at the end of the day, the fumes that when we walk outside with all the pollution in the air, might have 5G. I just don't really understand what at this particular time are we supposed to do. Are we supposed to, like when should we have fought this out, and where does the fight go from now? That's not, again, devaluating again this idea of 5G and what it can do to us. I hear it, but like you said, we find a purpose for us to pretend we don't have to work. We find a purpose for us to complain, to make it seem it's them. And true and behold, yes, it is. But our reality, when we have the ability to work out of that, we don't often work out of that. Your boy Byron Allen, he just lost. We haven't even talked about, he just lost that big case. Yep. That big case where now the ramifications of him losing, because he wanted to be a part of the I, not a we, but he subscribed it as the we, right? He subscribed it as the we, but it really was an I. Yep. Let's be very clear, even though it was a beautiful thing in reality. But now that he lost that, if he don't come back around and continue to fight it, it doesn't look good for us when we want to sue for discrimination moving forward. The common black man that don't have the money like Byron Allen. And in most times right now, Byron Allen, this is the billionaire. This is a great time. A man like him who speaks upon black businesses, a man like Dr. Boyce Watkins that speaks upon black businesses. Don't ask us to give you money. You need to start helping give us money. Start and create a foundation or a fund that can be able to operate in a way that it helps propel black businesses. These are the things that I want these niggas to do, because 5G, LG, YG, 2K, whatever the shit is, we find ourselves always wrapping ourselves around some conspiracy, whether it's fictional or it's fact, but never getting to the matter of fact. And the matter of fact, we got a whole lot of bullshit that's going on before we can even develop into fighting or conquering 5G. And I don't want to hear too many niggas lecture me about this shit, because all I'm going to say to Negroes, what are we going to do about it? Because a year later, all you niggas was on your happy horse, crying, moaning, Nipsey, they killed him, they killed him, they killed him. I'll say, who killed him? It was a government conspiracy. You don't know? Oh, okay. Well, I thought that Negro, who was another gangbanger, shot another gangbanger. And that's not disrespect on Nipsey.
But that would be too much like
too much like, right, I get it.
the real reality that we don't never want to address.
We don't want the reality. Just like we don't want the reality Tupac got killed by a Negro. It's these reality.
We want a fantasy. We want to have a 5G to blame this shit on.
Exactly. So now my thing is, y'all niggas a year later ain't did nothing. The dude's still in prison. I don't see the government being attacked for Nipsey Hussle, but now you're going to come around with the 5G shit, and I am not saying it is not the detriment of us. But this whole shit's been the detriment of us. I don't know what niggas want me to grab onto with this. That's why I haven't really looked into much of it. I just can't. I just can't, sis. I just don't. I'm gonna go to what is it? Sprint, which is now T-Mobile now. I'm gonna go there because this punk ass phone is gonna be a glitch. It's not gonna work. It's gonna be perfectly fine, but it's gonna stop working. You're gonna be like, brother, I called you like 10 times. I'll be like, sis, you ain't called me once.
Like, I'm going crazy.
You gonna show me the picture. Call Barry 10 times. I'm like, sis, I ain't got one phone call. I'm gonna have to go to Sprint. They're gonna be, hey, sir, is it Mr. Axius? I'll say yes. Well, Mr. Axius, you get an upgrade today. I said, whoa. I don't want the 5G. Well, Mr. Axius, we have now taken out all the other phones. So in order to keep your service, you gotta have to get a 5G phone. The inevitable is here. We're gonna all have 5G phones. Just like we all have 4K TVs. Ain't no Negro sitting there unless you an old head walking around with that big block TV in their house.
I got it in my garage.
I'm just saying. Negroes move from the big box TV to the plasma, from the plasma to the freaking 4K or whatever else. That's what we do. Niggas ain't got Blackberries no more. Trust me, I was the last nigga on earth holding on to a Blackberry. We got iPhones and Galaxies, Androids, whatever. Come on, I'm done. I'm done with Negroes, man. I'm done with Negroes. Money, put your money where your mouth is. If you niggas want to keep talking to me about what we should do, can you show me by putting up the money so I can be able to support my own people with the people that don't have? Because again, I'm putting it back on the niggas that have shit. And the niggas who have shit ain't doing shit. I'm looking at these niggas sideways, but you asking me to give you shit when you got more than me. That shit crazy.
They want to use your numbers and act like because there's been changes or young people feeling empowered, somehow it has something to do with them, which we know it don't. Because they don't even give these people the time of fucking day. But they are going to use your stats, Barry. Some people are stat Negroes. Their job is to come collect your stats.
Man, census Negroes? They the census Negroes?
Yeah.
Did you do your census?
I did it online.
Okay.
I did it online.
Because Negroes was on me about that as well. Like, we can't do the census. And I understood it. We can't even count how many people really died. And we going to be the census? I said, I get it, Negro. But damn, what game are we playing, man? What game are we playing? I don't even know if we playing it to win or we playing it to survive. What game? I'm going to do my census. Because if there may be a glimpse of what we can get something, I'm going to do it.
Killing me, today.
Queen, listen. You got to remember, every revolutionary Negro that was talking that revolutionary shit is over there filing for that stimulus check right now. They're filing for that stimulus check right now. Yeah, trust me. I ain't heard not one revolutionary Negro. I ain't taking that check. And with that spirit, freedom. Niggas is going away for the check. Be honest, niggas is trying to pay their rent. They doing all they trying to do.
God. You ain't lying, Barry. I'm just up here weak because it's so true. It's just so true.
I mean, it's just, sis, we're watching the state of Negroes right now, and I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed. I'm truly embarrassed. I'm truly embarrassed for some of us. And we believe in this shit. We like niggas really like, I just don't even understand. Like, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm blind. Maybe you blind. But you niggas ain't seeing this shit. Like, why ain't some of these big celebrity Negroes, instead of giving their money to systems that we already know you're not gonna get, we're not gonna get the money.
But that's because they're see what we're also learning now. If your eyes is open and not shut, you will learn that some people wanted to be the system. And I'm gonna keep reminding us. It's kind of like trying to make somebody be down. It's like Barry, you like the drop squad. Like your job is to. I don't know if you ever watched the drop squad. That's when you kidnap, brainwash Negroes, and then you try to brainwash their ass back. I think some people are beyond unbrainable. Like you're not gonna be able to brainwash them back and bring them back to their true self. Their true self is to be a traitor. Their true self is to be along with the oppressor. That's their true self.
Wow.
And I know that's a hard sell because we want to act like every Negro is redeemable. No, every Negro is not redeemable.
Nah.
You don't fight a war and then be like, we're not going to kill the other side. We're just going to redeem them. It does not work like that.
Well, here's the thing about it. Me and MJ again was conversating, and she was like, talking about how Negroes history, or like basically, like when you're young, right? When you're a young person, you would think that as an older person, you wouldn't still be doing the young shit. But a lot of our older Negroes are still doing all the young shit. You understand what I'm saying? And that shit is crazy because really you think you would age out of that shit. But what we find out is the Negroes who are still doing the young shit at the age where they should have graduated were always that way. It shouldn't surprise us. They was always that way. So if you was a bum, you probably was a bum ass Negro when you was young. That's why you a bum ass Negro right now.
That part, Barry.
I mean, that's facts. You know what I mean? And that's the truth again. I was a hustler when I was young. So guess what? I'm a hustler right now. That's why I move and how I glide through shit and I do all this shit. I've been doing this since I was a young tadpole back in the day. So I've just aged it, growthed it, and made it where it's now in my older age, finessed it better, makes it look a lot better than it was. And it, of course, it's a different product. You know what I'm saying? But I'm still a hustler. You know what I'm talking about? Until you age out of it or make it a more appropriate situation, you're just seeing that most of these people that was haters, and that's what I've learned, that they were probably haters when they were young. You just don't turn into a hater, nigga. You've always been like that. You feel me? Because here's the thing.
We'll talk, Barry.
So many people have so much to say when I'm outspoken about shit, but when I'm doing some real positive and powerful shit where everybody's seeing me and my other brothers doing, niggas ain't got shit to say. Like, where's your opinion now? Let's conversate about some shit now. What we talking about? Because I didn't see none of these bum-ass niggas running around here at the goddamn barbecue slam. Shouts out to your sister, Khadijah. She was with me. Shouts out to MJ. She was with me. My white nephew, Kevin, was with me. I didn't see half these niggas out here. I was straight front and center, right there, shutting down a pedophile barbecue spot. Niggas ain't got nothing to say. Now that we're doing this, feeding our community revolutionary shit, I mean, where are the detractors at now? Conversate with me. Let's talk about it.
Classes online.
Fuck out of here. Bum ass. Like it just kills me. It kills me 2-3 years ago. Movements that were here were so relevant. Those people were so relevant. Now the niggas is not relevant at all. Their movement's not relevant. There's individualism is not. Nothing is relevant. But niggas like myself, who was real to the core, because it was never about one thing. It was about all things. And I was not fraudulent. I had none of that fraudish shit in me. I was always real. It just rubbed people the wrong way. I just don't see. I'm clearly blind.
Some people will fight for the dead because they will not fight for the living.
Come on,
That's
man.
because you're fighting for the living. Most people only want to fight for the dead because the dead can't speak.
Or you're fighting for that moment. You're not fighting for the next.
From a dead person.
From a dead perspective.
We got people that's alive and you're not helping them, but you want to help them. Like,
and sis, I hope niggas see what's real from fake. I really hope people see this shit. Like, come on, we gotta get out of our own way.
We got wings and fly, but you know that shit ain't going there.
No, sis, we gotta get out of our own way. So how you doing? Like, how do you feel? How do you feel right now as you quarantine? Are you feeling revived, refreshed? And then what do you think, real quick, what do you think, as we talk about you first as an individual, what do you believe that we should do as a collective? Not saying that we all got to get together, but as a collective, what would be your thoughts at this particular time?
I feel good because I'm gonna tell you something. I feel good. My pace is working for me. I've been able to meditate more and get more work done. I mean, I'm doing some amazing stuff for myself to help me. Because I think collectives are made of individuals. So if you don't take care of yourself individually, you can't be a part of a collective. Otherwise, people will be dragging you and then you'll be dead weight. So I don't want to ever be dead weight. So taking care of myself, my health, eating right, walking. Shout outs to Christy, who keep me on my point because we walk together.
Nice.
I think as a collective, we should be cleaning house, your own personal house. You know, and then everything else around you, and start building alliances. Think, are you a healthy person? You know, when people see you, do they want to be connected to you? Or do they want to run away from your ass? That'll tell you if you're not healthy. I had a parent reach out to me saying that she wanted to talk to me because of something that happened between us. I'm gonna tell you something. I totally forgot about the shit, honestly. You know what I mean? But the fact that she's in this time of quarantine and probably going through some shit with her own young person, which is kind of how the shit happened. Now she wants to talk. Nothing wrong with that. But at least she's having a moment to reflect on her shit and be like, let me get this right, because I know this person does good work and I need to clear some shit up with her.
Well, I'm not clearing shit up with no niggas.
No, but that's that real work though, Barry. I mean, you're doing the work. Because I forgot all about it, honestly. I was like, up next, boop, I'm gone. I mean, it ain't that fucking deep. You know what I mean? But I was like, thank you. I'm still in my square. I mean, you know what I mean? So in order for us to move as a collective, we gotta do some cleaning up of ourselves, our environment, of our thought process, what we're doing. If you find yourself always criticizing motherfuckers and ain't doing shit, that means you need to go to the mental hospital. Because that means that something's fucked up with you upstairs. If a person's telling you that they're feeding people and all you can say is, well, I don't really like that nigga, something's wrong with you. And as a collective, you can't even join the collective. You're a part of the collective bullshit that we have to always fight against. Like when I turn on the what latest videos when people tag you, it's always the Real Housewives, the hip hop. That shit is always fighting and arguing. And it's just like, God damn. None of this shit is never love, upliftment. Like, I love seeing more people doing yoga and meditation. And I love all of that. But I'm just saying,
more cooking.
Find yourself attracted to that bullshit. Get a checkup. Get a checkup. Clean out your mind. Clean out your TV. Clean out your streaming services. It's all you got is fight videos, fight videos, fight videos, fight videos. Love and hip hop. That clean that shit out. That's you.
Nigga drama.
Yeah. If you're not trying to say, hey Barry, I got $10, I got $5. Can I bring down something? I got something. If you're not trying to add on to the cipher, as they say, if you're not trying to add on to the empowerment of our people, then you are a fucking problem. And you need to, you gotta go. Because here's the thing, we're going into another phase, Barry.
Yes, ma'am.
Conspiracy. Some of us ain't going. And we can't reform you to go. You can't take trash into heaven or whatever. You can't take your project mentality into a mansion. The shit you won't even keep the mansion if you took your poverty mentality. That's what we're talking about here. This is a cleansing, to be honest with you. This is a straight cleansing. This is designed to remove people off the planet. I'll say this, and then I'm gonna let it go. I believe that the planet Earth or the whole universe knows how to clean itself off. Now, as the two-leggeds that's supposed to have free will, some of us are not gonna make it. Because we know everything till we don't know shit.
Wow.
We know every conspiracy measure, but can't get 3 people together to go take a grandmama to the store. I mean, we can't even do shit. We can't even build, we can't even do a row of plants in the backyard.
Man.
With all the equipment.
Man.
So that says something about us.
Yeah.
So I think in the collective, there are many collectives. Which one do you belong to? I like to think I'm a part of the one that's going to live forever, because I'm going to always do my part thinking about life I'm never even going to see. And they may never even know my name, but because of my work that I contributed to the collective, that person will still be here.
Yes.
Which means
legacy work. Oh, that's real shit. Oh, you broke that shit down. I made that. I'll be pound out. No, I think the reset, And I think that really it exposes a lot of what it is, right? I think we're exposing a lot of what it is, what we know to be true, right? What we know to be personality traits. You know, like I said before, our reality has never ever in this world been exposed more than it is right now, right? Because everyone has a time to not be distracted by all the other things that we preceded ourselves to kind of dive in when we didn't want to focus. You have to focus.
Right on, Barry.
You gotta focus. You gotta focus on self. You gotta focus on your reality right now. Gotta focus on where you at, how you living, who you been living with, who you been building with. We got to. What creativity is coming out of this moment? These excuses that a lot of niggas are gonna make are gonna be what it is. But I'm gonna tell you, if we walk out of this not being 100% better than we were before, because I'm gonna tell everybody else we're gonna survive. I have that mentality. I'm not speaking in fear. I'm speaking in truth. I'm speaking in life. I'm speaking in reality. We will survive this because we've had. But again, there will be some casualties. But I'm speaking life over my people. Whether you like me or you dislike me, I'm speaking life over you. But the reality is now we see who people are for their true self.
That's so true.
This cannot be a distraction of it. Their true self. And folks who are cracking under pressure, who are not being able to perform as pressure hits the pipes, are letting me know that we can't dub these titles on them. And even if they have titles on them, it's just exactly what it is. It's a title. And if you are not thinking innovative ways of doing things instead of doing the same old, let's just go ahead to all these other organizations that are continuing to do work and not understanding that because everybody is in a big need, those organizations are getting overworked. So it'd be best to kind of spread out the work. Like this is when you start looking at some of your smaller organizations, but have just as much of as a big impact as the bigger organizations. As you know, as we talk, we are considered a mom and pop kind of organization that has big organization impact. You know what I'm talking about? But we're small in number. And the reason why is because you and I come from a place of, I rather get 6 out of 10 kids clean than get 6 out of 100 kids together.
Right on, man.
That's the kind of attitude that we have. We don't look at the attitude or subscribe in that place where, yes, give me 100 because I'm gonna save 100 kids. Like that's not a reality. That's fictional. We come from that. Give me 10, and I'm gonna try to push 10 out, but I guarantee you 6 to 7. We gonna work it out. And that's just better results. The reality is Black people, we're still so far apart from what we need to be. And I'm very disappointed that, leadership that calls themselves leadership and these Negroes that we celebrate, these idols that we idolize, they haven't stepped up with real, true, organic leadership and finding other organizations that are doing work and latching on to them saying, hey, that's not what we do, but how can we fund what you're doing? Because we all know everybody has a role to play. But when I've called certain resources, they just said, I can only give you this because I don't have what you got. And I said that this is what I need. Because this is what I don't have. And I think that this comes down to if we as Black people don't see us helping each other in this moment, I don't see when it's ever going to be another moment. And that moment that when it happened, it might be too late. That's just from my reality. Right if it's not this moment, the moment I think will be too late.
Well, I love what Sister Sunny said. She said, pressure will make diamonds or burst the pipe.
Listen.
Depending on what you make of it. Now that's real talk. Because I think that's what we are. And I feel, Barry, I so feel you with the disappointment, but I just got to tell you, I think what keeps me refreshed with those R's is that this is a cleansing.
Yeah.
I think the crack era was a cleansing. I hate to say it like this sounds really fucked up because we know it was a plot by the government, whatever. But a cleansing happened. And I hate to say it like that. All of us is not going to make it.
No.
And some of us don't deserve to make it because you can't be taking all of the fucking time. Some people are just takers. They just show up and take.
Yeah.
Don't offer, don't give, don't share, don't do any of that. And they're going to sell you a conspiracy theory. If you don't get the hell away from me with that, what's your track record? What's your track record? What have you been doing for the people? What have you been doing for yourself?
Yeah.
And if you can't show me that, then I don't know what to tell you, player. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you at this point.
Like I said, I love my people that stood in the gap. People that I didn't even think that would donated because they saw the work, and it was like beautiful. But I wish that we could be able to not be in a pandemic, so we could organize in a way. Like if I said that, hey, I wanted to buy this building, right? That we could operate in that. And I'm not other guys that work like that because I've seen niggas work it and get it and not still do anything with it. But I'm not that type of person. I just hope that we move in a clear direction and clearly see who, what, where, and when, and why we are. And if we can clearly see and understand that and not just crown Negroes because they say something good or crown Negroes because in that moment they've just kind of capitalized because they have good rhetoric, you know what I mean? Let's look at overall work. You know what I'm saying?
Look, in a good strategy, Barry.
Talk to me.
Want them Negroes to be crowned. Take all the eyes to them. Because what I know is that people like to take out people who like to be loud. That's the name of the game. You go to the loudest person and you knock them the fuck out. So let them do that. The person who basically do all the work and sometimes you can never see. I'm not trying to be funny. That if you study leadership, that was the one thing in our leadership that they kept was trying to find the Messiah. They was looking for the one who spoke the loudest, who people gathered around the most. That makes you somewhat of a target. You're too important to be a fucking target. See, my thing is these people also clear the way for you. So who knows? After this, there may be somebody who may take you up on that offer. Like, what we trying to buy? Because the other Negroes got out the way. They took themselves out the way.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying to you. That's what I'm saying. All of this is a cleansing. I'm like, stay on your. I always say stay on your square. What that means? Keep doing Barry. Keep being the hustling Barry. Keep being the Barry that get the shit done. Keep being the Barry that challenges power and the power that so-called looks like you, who are oppressive to people who look like you. You know what I'm saying? To look like us, basically. So that's the job. I think sometimes we be trying to tell the universe, no, we need to go this way. The universe be like, you're gonna go that way, but not right now.
Wow.
I gotta take out these other 5 Negroes the way that you're trying to go, so you can, when you finally go, you won't have to waste time on them 5 Negroes.
Yeah. You're right.
Because I've already cleared them out the way.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing. Folks wanted this to happen, but it didn't want it to happen like this, right? We all have this idea of how it happens, but the way it happened is like the way it was supposed to happen. And I think we need to identify that it happened the way it was supposed to happen. We must embrace how it's happening and get our thing together, because from what I read, they're talking about this recession. If we've been climbing next to this recession for a while, and as it hits this next term, this is going to be the best time for people that got some money saved. And I've been waiting for this day to come back around because I missed that first wave and I was sick. I missed that first wave. I'm prepared for that next wave. Been already doing the work for that next wave. You know what I'm saying? So it's a great time to kind of be in this moment, because here's what I think that folks tend to forget. What we were doing before wasn't normal. This is normal. Having dinner with your family, spending time with your family, spending time with your, having some time where you can now be in your own home and enjoy the home you're paying rent for, the home that you're paying your mortgage for, the home that you redecorated, redesigned. Come on now. The home where you can watch now your grandkids or your children or your spouse enjoy together, right? Like that's normal. What we were doing before, running this rat race and some of us never getting ahead, that was abnormal. That's crazy. That's suicide. That's oppression. When I watch people who are not celebrating the fact that they're with their kids, not celebrating the fact that now you can homeschool and give your kids all the tools your child needs to be the best child when they go back, or if they ever go back, because I believe that a lot of this a lot of this social distancing learning is going to be for some of the worst kids. Like now, what they're going to do to our kids that have more of the academic issues or the the fucking behavior problems, they're going to throw their ass to social distance learning. They trying to figure out this whole thing. Be careful what you ask for. So now public schools will now adopt more of this homeschooling idea and getting funds for it, where people who've done homeschooling ain't got nothing but had to come out of their pocket. Watch the resources change for now these public schools and private schools now going to fall into something that was created by the people, right? How convenient. I say that, and I say, let's not really search for the answers when the answers are inside you. This is the best time for you to regroup, strategize with your family, learn your spouse again, learn your kids again, enjoy this time, because when we get back on it, it's going to be full go. And folks who ain't ready to go full go, who are still in hibernation mode, you're going to get cut off, because again, businesses are downsizing and saying, cut that person. We're working at a epic rate without A, B, and C, without that heavy overcost, so we don't need it. So you have to weigh in and pay attention. So some of y'all who've been sitting back on that investment of whatever you want to create for your own, you might want to make that investment right now, because there's not going to be a lot of things to turn back to. And I think that we got to get out of this. This is crazy, but this is science just wrapping things to being back to where it was before, where we was. My shouts out to my brother Jermaine. He said something real. We had my team, we had a Zoom meeting, and when he was talking offline, and he was like, what's crazy is back in the days, remember when we came back from playing or we came back from a long day, we showered, we washed our hands, and what was considered our day clothes, our play clothes, weren't our work clothes. We changed out of our day clothes, put on our regular gear. You know what I'm talking about? So much of us, we have everything playing the same role. And I thought that was prolific, because back in the days, that's what we did. You couldn't walk into the house without washing your hands.
No, you could not.
You could not go to bed, or you could not stay in the same clothes you were all day at school. Like, boy, if you don't hurry up and take off that shit, you know what I'm saying? No. Like, true. That's what it was. Those things, washing and cleaning our hands, good hygiene was lost because we're constantly running. Forgetting about sitting at the table with our family because we're constantly going to McDonald's and buying food, or going to some restaurant and paying attention on the cell phones. We now have to be creative. We've gotten right back to the root in tragedy, which is not really tragic. It's only tragic if you did not prepare for it. But even if you didn't prepare for it, now you can get comfortable with it, but realize this is what you should say, and this is what you should be doing. And now you demand a different kind of policy for your life and for others. When you're really sick, and you're not going to go to work, because what they're pushing now is, well, if you're sick, stay at home. Well, motherfucker, we need to politicize that in a real way, because what a lot of us do, we still go to work because we're afraid to lose our job. And we work sick. So if you want to talk that, well, don't go to work. Well, we need to make sure that is a policy. I say politicize that. That's my new word. We need to politicize that moving forward. So that's just my whole idea of understanding, being familiar with yourself, because you're so unfamiliar with yourself, because we weren't able to have the opportunity to deal with ourselves because we was dealing with everything else. I feel this is great. I love this time right now.
We used to say this is the dope jam. I always say this is the detox.
Yes. The only thing I don't like is death. I don't like the death in it. I hate that, because the death is the death
comes life, Barry.
But that's what it exactly.
I'm sorry. It's They
some of these niggas got to go. Some of these niggas got to go, y'all.
Hey, let me say, the earth is never overpopulated. That's all I got to say. We could say it's overpopulated, but the earth is never overpopulated.
Just don't take us right now. It's just
yeah. I'm not saying we gotta go, but if hey, you know what I'm saying? I just know we live forever. Because you done touch so many people, Barry. We will be here forever. We still saying Harriet Tubman's name. We still saying Nat Turner's name. That means they're still here.
Yeah.
Barry, we gotta go. Because you're not gonna
I see.
No doubt. I look forward to my Tuesdays.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So, like again, Facebook, I'm just being honest. We need y'all to push on there, get on the page. We need y'all to build it up, and as well as our YouTube. Give them the YouTube.
Yep. Oh, yeah. I shared the YouTube. You go to YouTube. Okay. It's Earth Mama Network, but I shared the link throughout the show. Also, Barry, when we get off of this, go back on to Facebook and share. A lot of people want that link so they could donate. A few people said they needed to donate to you. So
okay, yes, please GoFundMe. Yeah, exactly. GoFundMe. Three black chefs, and I'm gonna send the rest. Like I said, Barry Axius Cash App.
Three, like the number, or three as in the
three. It's three. So if you hit GoFundMe, 3 black chefs as well. And the beautiful thing about it, we passed our goal, but what we know, we still have more days left. Let's go, people. Let's go further because we have to feed people. I'm telling you, sis, we fed over 2,000 plus people. I mean, real food, real service. And now shouts out to my DJ, DJ Wongon. He came out, DJ'd on Friday. We got Queen of Sheba and Good Vibes. Our vegan folks, they're coming out on Thursday to give some vegan options. Yeah, come and get a plate. Now we're going to have some vegan options. So we're really trying to make this a thing to where when people pick up their phone, I mean, not phone, but their food, they're hearing vibe. We're like, okay, we was barbecuing out there. It's like a real beautiful thing. It's a real experience just compared to just, here's your bag. Here's your bag. Nah, I was doing some exercise with the people. Sis. I had them doing their knees up. We was lifting up our hands. We was doing that. I was doing the logo. It's a beautiful thing. So like I say, thank you. I'm going to go back on the Facebook page. I'm going to post that up. Shouts out to everybody that's donated. Shouts out to everybody that shared it. And shouts out to everybody that cared. This is community run. We didn't have any big figures behind it. It was community push. At first, brothers came out their pocket, and now the community is paying in ways, so it's a beautiful thing.
I know. Thank you. All right, family. Peace.
Peace.